Hello, this is Almighty, and I'm gonna put this on record that this is going to be my actual first podcast of 2021. It's gonna be my first one. I've done some other ones. I was playing around. I posted them and took them down because I wasn't feeling them at the time. Um, if you notice, look, I have other channels that I put time to, and this one, when it originally started, it was for something totally different. I saw something that was happening in the black community. It originated off of that. And I was trying to do something like major. I really was. But I'll talk about that another time. But tonight, I'm going to take my time with this one because it's a special day. It's a special day. If anyone is into numerology, this was like a major event that happened on the 13th of January. In numerology, that's you totally lined up. You can't get any more lined up than that. I mean, I know people who were lining up that one, the 1, 2, 3 with the dates, with the time, with the time, down to the second, trying to see the same numbers. But today I'm going to do a review on a movie that I recently viewed. Now, this was a two-part movie, and it was called Along with the Gods, The Last 49 Days. It's a South Korean movie. Yeah, is that right? South Korean. I think it's South Korean because one of them, North Korea, you can't even view anything in it out of that country. It's a total blackout. It's almost illegal. You can't even view anything coming out of there. It's a charge. They can literally charge you for viewing something from over there. So I think it's South Korea. And it was a movie company out there that produced a movie called Along with the Gods, The Last 49 Days. And this was a very good movie. This was very good. And it was funny how I came upon the movie. It was, I was actually looking for Passion of the Christ. I said, because this day, this 1, 2, 3, I was anticipating this. I couldn't wait. It was a holiday. It was a major holiday for me. So I said, okay, what could I do? I thought about I was going to watch Passion of the Christ. I haven't watched it in a long time, a very long time. So I'm looking for the movie. Passion of the Christ is on no platforms. None. Total blackout. I couldn't believe it. Went on the Play Store. Went on the Play Store. You can't get it. They show it, but you can't buy it. Yeah. I was like, okay. That's the games they playing. I went to Walmart. Walmart got everything. Disgusting. I mean, literally everything. But you can't get it there. Total blackout. I went a couple of places. I said, all right, no one has it. I was gonna do the unthinkable, go on some crazy site and roll the dice. I was gonna do it. Anybody ever thinking about watching a movie on one of those sites? You think you're gonna you think you're gonna get away with it? Don't do it. Because the pain they will inflict on your whole mainframe, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. Your computer's almost no good. Totally being raped. They're taking everything. Don't do it. Do it the right way. I learned that on that. Leave those alone. But yeah, just buy it. And this is the one you're supposed to keep. And I see why. I was really disappointed that I couldn't find The Passion of Christ. I didn't go on that site to look at the movie. I was tempted. I knew it was a setup. But it got me thinking, why in the world would they do that? I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm not, but you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. But you know, we can only blame ourselves. Seriously. But look, I'm going to take my time with this show tonight. My first show of 2021. I said, okay. So I'm going over all the other little platforms. I'm looking for Passion of the Christ. You know how they give you suggested videos. I looked this up, and there aren't that many shows with the name God in it. So a few popped up. And there was one called Along with the Gods. I said, okay. Look, I'm going to take my time with this one. I really am. So, we get along with the gods. Clicked on it. So let's check it out. Something caught my attention. I think it was the guy at the beginning of the you'll see him. He has his he's South Korean guy, tall. He has a sword similar to what Thanos has. That Thanos sword, two blades, one on each side. So let's check it out. I was in for a surprise. This movie was literally reincarnation, karma, karmic debt, the afterlife. This movie stretched generations. It then went to saying that we were seeing it from their perspective. This was almost a millennium. I mean, I think I saw a number. There were millenniums they were talking about. This movie touched on the afterlife from a Eastern perspective. Now, keep in mind, Christianity and a lot of these Asian religions, some of these Asian religions predate even Christianity by thousands of years. Christianity adopted some of the tenets from those religions. Jesus actually learned from them. And Jesus actually believed in the afterlife and reincarnation. He referred to it. This movie gave you a glimpse, all in a nutshell, how all that works. And if you look at it the right way, it's very similar to Christianity. Very similar. If you go to those texts where Jesus actually referred to reincarnation, he's talking about this. This is how some of these things could actually play out. Because if you look at it from the lesson, even from the lessons that it's teaching, they're giving us the whole heaven and hell, everything in between that you were traditionally brought up on. It expanded on it. It really expanded on it. So look, this movie did it masterfully. They did it masterfully. You know, this was see, a movie like this, it this was a suggested movie. The movie was had a pretty good production. Now, information like this being coming over here from the Koreans over there, you know, I have to tip my hat to them because they were the only ones giving us something like this with this type of production. It was so plainly put and eloquently done. There was one part of this movie. Now keep in mind, if you haven't watched the movie, this will not make sense. So watch the movie. There was a character by the name of White Wolf, and he was a warrior. You know, the type to go in, kill the whole village, burn everything down, go on to the next one, do the same. He was one of their most fierce warriors. White Wolf, he wore a white scarf around his neck. He was going after the opponent's tendons, the Achilles tendons, taking him out like that. He was so relentless, they called him the White Wolf. He gets into a situation where he has a change of heart over some children. He had a change of heart. And it was a part in there where he had to face some wolves in the jungle. He faced them. Keep in mind, he just been battered and bruised. He gets into this situation where he's tied to a tree with his hands behind his back in a unescapable situation. He was at brink of death when they put him there. He tried to save a group of children that was stranded in the forest. He tried to save them. He had a change of heart, came back, and started feeding them. Now, in any other situation, he would have killed them. He would have killed them. He saw what was happening. He started neglecting his duties I guess he was in charge of a certain section. He was in charge of a certain section, and all this was happening in East Asia. He was in charge of a certain section. The king found out, or his superiors, and they came in and were going to kill him and the children. And he saved them. He saved them. He's in the woods, trapped because of that betrayal he did with the king or his superiors. Now, keep in mind, if you haven't seen this movie, it's not going to make any sense. He is trapped in the woods, surrounded by 20 wolves. 20 wolves come in and are about to feast on him. They come in and charge on him. 20 wolves. You at the end of, right when the scene stops, he's actually about to get chomped down on, and the screen stops. They move on to a totally another storyline in the movie. When we come back to him a few frames later, he's actually out of the ropes and not a scratch on him. The ropes chewed off of him. They never showed how he got out of that. They never showed how he got out of that. Now keep in mind, why that's so significant is in the movie, they drew everything out. This was the only one they left up to interpretation in this movie. After you watch the movie, come right back to that part. What happened? And look how beautifully they played out every part of everything else in that movie was played out perfectly. They left that out. Whoever put that in there, it was so masterfully done. Because when you go back to and you start thinking about what could he have done to get out of that situation, you need to, when you watch the movie, there's no way he's getting out of that. And on top of that, it looked like the wolves had freed him. He didn't have a scratch on him. They don't explain. How White Wolf got out of that, he told the wolves. He told the wolves who he was. That's how he got out of that. He talked to them. He told them who he was. If you go back to where he was at the beginning of the film, that character would actually be somewhat like an angel. If you're looking at it through the Christian point of if you're looking at it through Christian eyes, he would be an angel in charge of protecting humans. But he was once human. He was once human. He told those wolves who he was subconsciously. The whole movie dealt with the subconscious. The whole movie, amongst other things. It was that part right there. His name, he told him who he was. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. You know, it's funny when you're going out there. You know, that movie won't get watched by a lot of people. That will not get watched by a lot of people, even being on Hulu. They didn't even advertise it. You literally had to look for it. You literally had to look for it. If I wasn't looking for Passion of Christ, I wouldn't have saw it. So yeah, it was that part. That part stuck out. It was amongst other things. This movie has so many storylines. In part one, was actually, yeah, it was better than this. Or if you got a soft heart, do not watch part one at the end. You may not make it. If you have a soft heart and you love your mother, do not watch the end of the first along with the gods. Yeah, don't watch it. Do not watch it. Don't watch it. But yeah, they did an excellent job with this one. They did an excellent job with this one. So this movie, if you're looking at 1 and 2, how we're putting spirituality and reincarnation and the afterlife all rolled up in one, every aspect of it. Every aspect of it. Well, like I said, I'm gonna keep this one brief, but you really need to watch this one. And whoever's hearing this, we'll be talking about more stuff like this on the show. So if this is something you're into, check me out. I'm not gonna be doing a whole lot of movie reviews. Oh no, I won't be doing that. I tried that for a while, and look, these to be a movie reviewer, you're watching a lot of television. No, these guys aren't playing. Hours upon hours. It's not worth it. So if I see something good, I'll do a review on it. And if I gave it a good review, if something's gonna make me take my time out of my day and do this, yeah, it's worth watching. This was a gem. You're gonna see the difference with this Korean market. It doesn't have the same Marvel or DC production, but they get the point across. At some points it look kind of cheesy, but if you can get past that, oh, the movie's wonderful. And another thing, you're gonna have to read the subtitles. Crazy. It's crazy how they do a movie like this. Whoever did this, you're gonna get a whole another type of viewership if you put some voiceovers on that. What the hell is wrong with you people? You don't release a movie like that and you have to read the subtitles in an Asian market. As good as this was, you never know. Hulu may have done that. So if you're into this type of stuff, this is what Marvel and DC is going to be moving to next. It's going to be this. They're going to change everything. It's going to come through them. You start releasing this Asian spirituality into this country, look, listen, it makes way more sense. It makes way more sense. And you know what's going to happen. They're going to start finding some of these texts with Jesus where he's referring to reincarnation. And the question is going to be if it's true or not. It doesn't matter what you believe. You can't tell me that's not going to have an effect on the ones coming up, for good or bad. For good or bad. No, think about it like this. What has your attention? What has your attention? If it's spirituality, if it's sports, if it's whatever you put most of your time into, that's the one you serve. That's the one you serve. What is getting your attention? You have, if you're a Christian, you have your thoughts coming into a generation where you have coming up with this newer generation where they're gonna have other options. They're literally gonna have other options. Look, I don't want to turn this into too religious, but it's just something that you're gonna really have to start thinking about. You're gonna really start having to think about, because a movie like this, it really changes everything. It really changes everything. Like, if you look at it from that's why you have to be careful with what you're believing in and what you're teaching those around you, because from a business aspect, the movie The Matrix, they treated that like a religion. You can't tell me that after 95 they didn't treat Neo like Jesus. You know how they say the Bible is the number one selling book in the world? Guess what? Neo and that whole Matrix franchise outsold Jesus by far. And keep in mind, they treated the Matrix like a religion. Let that sink in. Neo was actually more popular than Jesus Christ. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. So look, whether you believe in in this Asian culture, how they're looking at the afterlife, the East Asian culture, how they're looking at afterlife and karmic debt. Some of these things are referred to in the Bible. They're just not emphasized. Oh, I love this one. They're just not emphasized. They're going to release this type of stuff. This is what we're getting. We've never gotten this with this type of production. And then you're having something like this that's pretty soon Marvel and DC are going to pick this up, because when you start getting into this type of thinking, this makes way more sense. In their eyes, this makes way more sense. This makes way more sense than time travel. It's too sloppy. Everybody is doing everything they can to outdo this. The time travel stuff doesn't make any sense. No, people were honestly thinking you're gonna ship somebody back in time and just walk around. People were actually thinking that. When you're looking at this makes way more sense. It makes way more sense. And this movie, And this wasn't even the full story. This wasn't even a full story. It gave it a really good elementary introduction to this stuff. Everything was there. This is along the lines with Lion King. How the boy became a man and how he moved in the afterlife. It's the continuation. So, okay, I'm not gonna go too far on that, but definitely check this one out. Good day.